they started becoming members of the Boule, members of the Masonic Temple, members of the Eastern Stars. So now it's like, okay, when you enter these groups, everything is a secret. So there's a code of silence the same way in the gangs, in the streets, there's a code of silence. Well, when you become a part of these groups and these fraternal orders, there's a code of silence.
And many of these fraternal orders prey on children.
Well, you got to sit back and think, right? Even in college, when these kids get hazed and they start doing the hazing, some of these kids will get beat to death. There's no murder charge. But in the hood, if a kid is wrestling and you body slam your little brother, your child is going to jail for manslaughter. But in these fraternal orders, these colleges, if these kids decide that they want to sit up there and haze you, it's just hazing. It's not murder. It was an accident. Nah, it's murder. They beat them to death.
Where does the Zulu Nation stand as far as, its reach? Does it have any kind of connection or, with people in the government or is it just something that pretty much just governs in hip-hop?
Well, that's a good question. Once again, it's like, with Africa Bambaataa, he was locked up in Brazil. Now, I think the legal age, if I'm not mistaken, of having sex is 14 in Brazil. He went younger than that. He got locked up in Brazil, and I'm not saying allegedly. I don't give a damn. I'm not saying allegedly because I know people that was in Brazil with him when he got locked up. That's how I know it really happened. So he got locked up in Brazil touching young underage kids. And then you got to ask yourself a question, well, where was these niggas at when he was touching those kids? Because they was there. And he got locked up, and the government, people in the government got him out of jail. So that shows you the power that he has. And now he's back touring back at Brazil again, like nothing happened. He got connections in the UK. Yeah. All over the world, people know what this man did, and he's still walking around. There's some stuff coming out, some allegations coming out on Crazy Legs, which is the leader of the Rocksteady crew. And the Hispanic community is going in on him. They trying to get him banned from the Olympics because now, being at Crazy Legs, they do the breakdancing thing. They trying to get him, out of the Olympics. And I personally feel like, that's a beautiful thing, the way the Latino community is coming together with the African American community, the so-called African American, because I don't like calling us that. The way they responded to this, it was like, it was sad, embarrassing.
Yeah, it's almost like, it was a flash in the pan, and then they just quit talking about it. You can tell there's influence there. How big is the Zulu Nation as far as their control over, like, hip-hop media and just overall influence of hip-hop today?
Well, I tell you like this. When I finally spoke to Mysonne on the phone, he called me briefly or whatever because he was mad because I was, making videos about him. And then he come to find out that, one of my comrades was one of his a few of them was his comrades. And he was like, yo, he was trying to, get squash the beef or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, he was telling me that he wasn't prepared to go against them dudes. They were strong. And nobody, if you notice, I say this all the time, Uncle Murder, every year, Uncle Murder is doing a yearly wrap-up. For 3 years, he refused to talk about Bam. He talked about Suge Knight, everybody else. He would not mention the Zulu Nation and Africa Bambaataa because that's the power that they had. They're still heavy in the music industry behind the scenes. So nobody, absolutely, you got to ask yourself a question. This story got big at one point in time. Absolutely nobody in the industry spoke on him.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, share. Also go over to UGSforLife.com, download the entire archive, and check out new episodes on Apple Podcasts and Blog Talk Radio.